Hello friends, we're heading to Lviv for new craft. I'm Yevhen Sinelnikov, and this is Craft Journeys. Let's go.
I'm Roman, and I make craft paints.
Craft paints? What do you mean? Sorry, what are craft paints?
These are handmade paints.
Without chemicals, right? Roughly speaking.
Yes, from natural plants, from natural minerals, according to the same recipes as some Greeks used to make them, so to speak.
What are these old technologies needed for? For instance, this brown one.
This is called natural umber.
Oh, natural umber.
People, when they find out that this isn't just a synthetically produced color, that it's actually a mineral taken from the earth, from Ukrainian soil, that Ukraine can give us all these compounds. And when people find this out, they're like, wow, this was ground by hand, not by a machine. This hasn't been done for a long time, and that's why it's popular.
The paint itself as paint, won't there be a big difference?
There actually is a difference. These effects can be achieved chemically, but this paint, because it's made from heavy natural minerals, from metallic minerals, forms interesting sediments. It creates interesting effects on paper. It's rough to the touch because the finely ground pigment is abrasive. It's like sandpaper to the touch.
So the paint itself, for people who paint, who understand what paint is, the consistency itself, the paint itself is awesome.
Yes. And basically this aesthetic is interesting because you can make paint from something cheap, or you can pick, let's say, a pigment that was used in ancient Egypt. You can pick a pigment that's toxic and use it for restoration work, for some kind of historical...
I see, yes.
For example, I have a few very rare pigments, like this one. This is an aura pigment. It contains arsenic and mercury compounds.
Which is pleasant.
It is used by restorers, and you can only buy it with special restoration coupons. It's in their interest to write in their work that I painted the piece with the same materials the Greeks used. People are attracted by the rarity, the uniqueness, and the naturalness of this as an art form.
And is this color here?
It's right here. It's incredibly bright. The more toxic the color, the greater the effect. After 1300, it was no longer used in works, primarily because substitutes were found. Secondly, it was still toxic and people didn't want to work with it.
And what is it made of?
It's actually made from this mineral right here.
Cool.
We can actually make paint ourselves today, paint with it, and see how it looks on paper. The point here isn't about painting pictures, because I don't really paint pictures that much myself. I have some sheets that I paint on, by the way, using these very same materials. If you try to recreate these colors with synthetic paint, it's a very, very difficult job to find the perfect tone. But nature already gives us ready-made colors.
And what's this?
It gained the most popularity during the Renaissance. These are ground copper emeralds. This is what they look like.
Wow. Are there any authentically Ukrainian ones, like ours? Like we used beetroot to paint, this is beetroot color?
I have a color made from elderberry.
Cool. Are these your blanks? Are these shells? Are they all going to be used for colors?
I pour paint into them to make it look nicer. I don't pour the paint into a plastic cup, but I do it so it looks nice.
So you're quite the aesthete, I see, right? He pours paint into something beautiful, like I'll do this. Kind of started a business for myself, something that nobody else does.
Half a year ago, I was doing something completely different. And then I wanted something new in my life. I wanted some colors.
And who's your main target audience? Who buys?
Artists buy, Ukrainians buy, and those who want to support us from abroad buy as well. I do charity giveaways of these paints because it's interesting to receive them, and people don't want to pay a lot of money for them. I saw that this has been popular abroad for a long time, and there are maybe only 20 masters in the world who do this seriously. The main audience is mostly people from Eastern Ukraine, because if you're an artist, if you're from Eastern Ukraine, buying paint from Donetsk Pigments, from Kryvyi Rih Pigments is a symbolic thing. That's why I don't allow myself to raise prices too much for Ukrainians, but if someone buys from abroad, then I set a proper price there.
Well, that's great. That's the right thing to do, the right position.
These are minerals from Kryvyi Rih. This is hematite, which means it's a metal dioxide. If I said something wrong, people will correct us in the comments.
Definitely believe me in the comments.
We need to grind this stone.
Grind the stone?
Yes, and we need a component that's honey, glycerin, and gum arabic, which is the resin of the Arabian stone. I have an example of paint here that I made in 2020 and the day before yesterday. The proportions have changed. I searched for the right proportion for a very long time. It's the same mineral, but what a different effect. The quality of the paint is so different.
So you're saying I kind of understand. I understand that, for example, Shaolin monks wore these colors because they promoted turmeric. That's why everything is so orange. I understand why we have red cherryberry. Why? Because Buryak was always there. He promoted in Buryak, and they're kind of red, that I understand. But how to turn this into paint? Well, show me.
No.
It doesn't smell like anything at all.
Yes, because it's stone.
Just nothing.
And now we pour in the same amount of honey, glycerin, and home arabic. Stir it.
Just a palette knife.
Oh, I love this.
Just like that. Now take the currant. Yes, it's called currant,
Currant?
or amular in English, and grind it.
Well, it's not that easy, actually.
It's hard physical work, actually.
It's like it's already mixed, but you still feel that there are these particles in there. How did you come up with the idea to turn this into a business? Well, I mean, trying to draw something for yourself. I get it, it's cool, it's interesting, but to build a business on that?
It happened by accident. It's just that artists are living in such a difficult time now that you either adapt and try to promote your art absolutely everywhere. You also have a separate job and invest money from your job into your art. And yeah, like you go to some exhibitions, you buy some materials, or you forget about it, realize that it's all pointless with the current attitude toward art, and you start a business related to art.
You know, a framing workshop has more clients.
100%.
You have no competition, and that's an advantage.
Yeah.
But convincing people that it's cool, that it's 100% more expensive than chemicals, that you have to pay more, but it's natural, that's where the authenticity is, that's where our traditions are. Try this. It's a tough path, and you're walking it.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's more interesting. 100%?
A certain aroma appeared.
Yes. To prevent the elm compound from spoiling and getting moldy, essential oil is added. I added essential oil with cypress because I love clouds.
I see, that's why the aroma appeared.
And when you're involved in art, basically you want to go fully authentic. To weave the canvas yourself, to cook fish glue, to coat the canvas, to stretch it on a cypress stretcher because cypress doesn't spoil in water. This stretcher won't rot even after 300 or 400 years.
So shall we try it on paper?
Give us the palette knives.
And what are we drawing?
We're not drawing anything, we made a color. I don't have to make paintings, and actually I enjoy watching other people create paintings. It's an honor, a kind of admiration, when someone takes your paint when you've given a color to an artist, and they make a beautiful painting with it, and there's an effect there that you can't find anywhere else, something that can't be recreated. You're like, wow, did I really take part in this?
Friends, I want to draw your attention to how Ukraine is developing. Artists and masters usually focus on themselves saying, I'll paint, look at me. Now, with the new generation, I want to give you an opportunity. I'm interested in giving you a chance to do something cool. And I'll do it for you. Well, I mean, that's already the next level. You're right. When there's texture in the paint, when you see that it's not uniform, that it's natural, of course, it looks completely different.
It will dry and we'll see what it's really like.
I like to mess up other people's work, so I wanted to draw a hare. It's the letter L, because we're in Lviv, not a hare at all. Thank you. And what are your prices, tell me?
The price is not for the material. Well, the material here is just something I dug up, so to speak, so it doesn't have any monetary value. But it's the work that's put into it. Some argue that 2,000 Cherayevnya watercolor paints are a luxury, but that is their actual store price. Of course, that's for synthetic watercolor paints. My professional set costs 5,000 hryvnias, I have 2 sets like this. I paid 4,000 hryvnias for this one. Initially, I didn't want to sell them as I wanted to make this for myself. I'm creating a palette for my own use.
Wow, is this a palette? Yes.
Yes,
Beautiful.
there will be a lot of colors here and many shades of those colors. Because, for example, you can make several whole shades from a single mineral. It's not uniform, it shifts from green to blue. You can make 20 or 30 colors just from one selection of mineral.
It looks beautiful. Is this how it's sold?
Yes, I think I'll make sets with shells too.
Cool, I see you have plant-based blanks. Well, I guess you can also make paint from this, right? That's what it's for, isn't it?
Yes. The problem with colors from plants is that they're not as stable as minerals. Because mineral colors don't fade at all. Plant-based ones have medium light fastness. The color may fade in 50 years, especially if the painting is exposed to sunlight. That's absolutely terrible for pigments, terrible for paints.
Cool, interesting approach. I like it.
Artists are trying to return to the experience of ancient masters, to the experience of the Renaissance, and it's easier to study this by literally painting with the same materials those artists used.
By the way, do you know why icons are painted with beer and egg? Because when people kiss them afterwards, everyone likes it.
Even a small easel, right?
Yes, it's a small palette.
So sweet. And how much would such a set cost?
My set cost 850 hryvnias per set, but then I went to Rosetka and saw that Rosetka sells these sets for 900 hryvnias for an empty palette. And I realized that I must be doing something wrong in this life if my ready-made paint costs.
Yes.
But still, sometimes people refuse to buy it at that price.
Well, it looks really cool. Look, the shell itself has slits, paint, and here's some info on how it's made. A cool, fun gift for some artists. So you're going, what should you bring him as a gift from Ukraine? Here you go, our authentic Ukrainian colors and paints. That's cool, I like it. All right, let's go, producer, let's go. He always finds a reason to buy something sweet.
We are Liz, a studio of custom artistic furniture.
This is, wow, what is this?
This is a bed, a wardrobe, but you will be able to see everything at the hotel in the center of Lviv, Mola Mola. Very soon this spring it will already be there. We create each item accordingly, not just out of some desire, but there is a philosophy behind it. This is the room called Geisha. And here it's not just encoded or presented as the commonly accepted idea of who a geisha is. For example, this tree, well, here too, here it is. We specifically placed it here. This is a column that extends and there will be a mirror here.
As I understand, this isn't finished yet, it's still in progress.
At the moment, of course, it's still in progress. There's a wardrobe standing here, and inside there will be a hidden bed.
At least approximately. What kind of finish? I want something like this, like that. I'm really building a new hotel in the center of Lviv, and I want it to be like this. How much will something like this cost me?
It depends on the features. A lot depends on what will be there, what we need to design and include. For example, here there is lighting. There are internal parts that hide the bed itself and this system that will be installed.
So, will it be lowering down?
Yes, it will be lowering down.
Behind this extension, there will also be a garden,
There will be more here.
like behind frosted glass with lighting and everything.
Let me ask again, and right now it's not about the money. Time-wise, how long will it?
This project is a year.
A year?
You need to sign up in advance, calculate everything, and, for example, if a hotel wants to open soon, like, for instance, we got a call, a hotel in Seychelles wanted us to furnish them with custom-made pieces. The kind of pieces like all the consoles you see here. But the highlight here is that we preserve the wood as it is and come up with the shape based on the board itself. It was just a board, a 6-meter-long board.
Uh-huh.
And we looked at it, thought about what we saw in it.
This isn't the Seychelles, right?
No, these are original works, handmade. You just can't say that in 6 months we can make you 5 hotel rooms there. That's impossible.
It's certainly expensive.
Of course, it's definitely not cheap.
How much is not cheap? $200? She didn't even smile.
2,800, just like that.
Well, of course, it's the kind of thing you just hang on the wall somewhere.
You don't need anything else here.
You don't need anything, just 2 figurines, and here you can put your keys, right?
But for example, these consoles weren't created easily. It was an idea that combines Ukrainian folk because here you have traditional geometric carving and the beauty of our wood. This was our collection. We collected these boards ourselves and they waited for the moment to be turned into some objects. And even these symbols here and the brass detailing is used. There is still an idea, a story embedded here. When water, a stream, flows over rocks for a long time, a smooth surface forms.
Uh-huh.
Even if you look closely, there's a small drop here.
No way.
Yes, all functional things, they serve not only an aesthetic pleasure.
Is this wood itself so interesting with so many veins here?
It's just cherry wood. It plays with so many different colors.
These boards, for example, the ones used for this series, they are naturally dried. That will be a slightly different color of the same cherry wood. So, for example, by the time they got to us, they were 40 years old.
It's not that hard, just let it sit for 40 years.
Well, that's not the limit. We have beams that are 120 years old.
How much does it cost?
That's $2,000.
That's $2,000. I prefer it over this one. And it's cheaper and it has this thing here. Well, that's something, but I really like this mirror.
It will be restocked. These are the limited edition furniture pieces, of course. Each one is unique. There won't be exactly the same color, shade, or texture, but the concept is the same. These are Ukrainian symbols, traditional ones, just like this one. It's called Soloveiko, and it even depicts the tree of life.
I really like that here. The texture is just rough wood, which transitions into this Ukrainian ornament.
That's the complexity of our work, for example, because it's not just a sketch, but you have to calculate the construction in your head right away. It's not just that you first draw a sketch like an artist, but you draw it simultaneously in your mind. That's where the work happens that constructs everything.
How much does the mirror cost?
25,000 hryvnias.
I really like this one.
It's a classic where artistry has already been added as an element. And of course, for example, how was this born? It was some classic item into which we decided to add something of our own, something unique, inspired by the nature of Ukraine. And this item, it's actually from the classics because it's a well-known shape of products from that chest of drawers. For example, it's an interior that can be both modern and classic.
You don't really have furniture or carpentry here. There's more of a creative artistry to it. How many of your products are actually repeated? I want one like that. There goes the smile. So what kind of furniture do you make? You make art?
This is art, this is functional art.
Why did you choose this path where basically you made a cool, awesome dresser, polished your skills, made it even cheaper, saved money here and there?
And let's make money. No, let's do something new. Not interesting. Not interesting.
Not interesting.
We have been researching what furniture is for 12 years. For example, our clients, they are investors. This investor, because they invest in the item in our development, we receive a reward which we immediately reinvest in ourselves in order to show that such furniture can exist at all. Artistic furniture. Nowadays, this is a rarity. It's like how craftsmen and artists used to work in the past, creating something with an idea in mind. In the same way, the personal orders we fulfill are not just things. These are things that are important to their owner for a specific reason.
It seems to me that, in general, Ukrainians, not just Ukrainians, anyone, can invest in something unique. I don't know what it is, but it could be something interesting, something unique. From the perspective of investing in art, in creativity, from the point of view that in 10 years your work could be worth 10 times more. Is that possible? What do you think about it?
First of all, even if we take ourselves and our development as it is today, those pieces of furniture that were sold 3 years ago, everyone who bought them is lucky. Everyone is lucky. Their value has already increased at this stage.
That's right, isn't it?
That's exactly right, of course.
We're walking around the workshop here. Is there anything else to see? No, there's nothing here. Come here. There's nothing here. Just a panel made of finely polished wood. Well, what's this? These are doors, right? These are doors. But what's there to show about them? Well, nothing special. This is just, well, yeah, decor, decor, decor. Look, a vase. This is just an idea. It doesn't exist yet.
I don't know, so many people already wanted to buy this chair and this table, but we didn't have a group. This is a sample of what the wardrobe looked like before we made it. And so we brought it to the client and showed them, this is how your salt shaker will look. Do you like it or not?
I like it.
Of course, that's exactly right. Because we have some people who come to us and say, we just need a bed, that's all, nothing else. We need a bed and we'll think about it, we'll draw it, approve it or not approve it. Honestly, whatever you show, it's all great.
Right?
And there are those who come with their own idea. I mean, they want something specific according to this interior. We come, look at this interior, walk around, measure and talk. Creating such works takes a lot of time. These are personal works. It's about talking with the owner. Even he, for example, thinking that he wants to order cabinets, after the conversation very often doesn't want a cabinet anymore.
Yes, maybe a dresser.
This is one of the simplest mirrors we've created in this life. It happens very often.
Wonderful, yes. And how much does it cost? I can't take my eyes off it.
$1,000.
$1,000 is really cool.
This is oak, and these drawings aren't just random. They were created according to the story behind it. These aren't barn or unused boards. We only use wood that we are sure about.
And what could be wrong with the wood?
Well, if we're talking about barnwood, you have to be selective. You can't use just any board. Barnwood is the kind that...
Has already been used.
Of course, you have to choose which board is used for what. Furniture is a specific item. It has to be not only aesthetic. If it's a frame, yes, you hang it on the wall. A frame is decor. If we're talking about items like a dresser or a table, these are things you use, so you need to know the quality of the material to be sure it will last another 100 or 200 years. Well, how else? All these items aren't bought just out of necessity, like to look in a mirror. These are things people buy for a different reason. It's not a suite, it's a different kind of item.
Here, I'm not looking at the mirror, that's true. Ah, wow.
Wow.
Is this real?
It's real. In the future, this will be a table.
With snakes?
With snakes.
Please tell me, where is the table here and where are the snakes? How does it come to be? So we have these roots, what next?
Here is the height of the table, as it should be. In fact, it ends right here. The tabletop is glass with a wooden frame. Brass tubes that are woven around this. Here, if you look closely, there are some round outlets, holes.
Yes, here they are.
And from these holes, like the snakes will be woven, and they will support the countertop itself like snakes.
Yeah.
Maybe on top, like someone is holding it on their head with their mouth open, like they bit the countertop somewhere.
Tell me, please, you study wood, you study furniture, you grow, you search, search, search. How do you feel about people who come and say, I want to be, teach me, tell me, I'm young, I'll help you. What can I do for you? And you just teach me, please.
We'll tell, show and teach. We've had people who came to us and said they wanted to learn.
Today, I can say that the learning process itself is not easy. It's not easy because, for example, we've already been offered several times to create master classes separately. But it's impossible to teach this.
A lot of time.
It's about wasting your personal time, my time, and Andrew's time, but that's not even the main point here. These aren't courses you can master in 3 days, 5 days a month, or even 2 months. We studied for 7 years, and that's just in higher education, just to start thinking not to work with wood. We learned to work with wood technically on our own, by ourselves. And already having some of this artistic knowledge, we just went and learned to work there, to master wood and carpentry.
We studied for 7 years just to start thinking.
I'm Katya, and I embroider collars.
What kind of beauty are collars? What purpose do they serve?
I position them as something like a piece of jewelry. I mean, why do we wear jewelry? To look beautiful. To look beautiful, to express your individuality, to highlight your unique style. And I wanted to create something that would combine my love for embroidery, continue the Ukrainian tradition, and at the same time be a new interpretation of such an ordinary accessory as a detachable collar.
And you say it will continue the tradition. Is this a Ukrainian tradition, these collars?
No, collars themselves are not an old Ukrainian tradition.
I agree, especially considering these contemporary designs.
The technique used to embroider the collars is traditionally Ukrainian, ancient. This is called the kolodochki technique. If we look closer, we'll see that these are little bricks that build a house. They are called kachelohki. It was more popular in central Ukraine than in the West. And in general, we're all used to thinking that embroidery means cross-stitch, but cross-stitch wasn't a traditional Ukrainian technique. No one ever embroidered with cross-stitch because it's very difficult to do cross-stitch embroidery. It's much easier to embroider with satin stitches or counted stitches because here you just draw the outline and fill it in with identical stitches. When I was coming up with collars, they were children's collars. Because there were no adult ones in the assortment, because back when I was little, I didn't have an embroidered shirt since I was from a Russified family. But I lived and studied in Lviv, and we had a lot of celebrations where you needed to wear an embroidered shirt. And my grandmother, since she did embroidery, she made me a detachable embroidered collar, and I wore it for a long time, just over a white blouse. And once, as I was going to bed, I remembered this and thought it would be cool to make something like that for children. At that time, I had a daughter, and we started making children's collars. And there was no talk about adult ones at all. I couldn't even imagine that these could also be adult accessories.
Can I see them?
Yes. I'll probably show you my super office now. This is my super office.
Yes, super office. The beauty of Ukrainian craft.
Yes.
We're at home here. We arrived at the office. We're already in the office.
Yes, we're already in the office. The very first collar was actually like, I thought about it in the evening, woke up in the morning and started looking for some leftover fabric I had, some kind of shape. And you see, the sewing here is really bad because I couldn't find a seamstress to sew it for me. In short, it was literally made on the fly.
Not bad for something you made on the fly.
We tried, we experimented with the shape and with the fabric. I realized that since I'm not a very neat person and most people aren't very neat either, everyone really, that's why it was important to me that if I want to make something that I position as something that will last a long time, it should be made from quality material, not from linen. Because linen doesn't hold its shape, it wrinkles. All the collars we embroider are made from German even weave fabric. It's called Zweigart. Embroiderers know about it. It's expensive, it's good quality.
Is there nothing like that in Ukraine?
Yes. Actually, we have a big gap when it comes to fabric production. The same goes for NTOC. That's why we embroider with French DMC floss. This is also floss that will last for years and years, even if you wash it often. Also, this fabric is very easy to care for. So this is a child's collar, and it was important to me that if the child gets it dirty, the mother doesn't have to wash the whole thing, but can just gently wipe it. That's why it's easy to care for.
So that's how it was, right? If you made a mess, you could just gently wipe it off.
And this is a collar that grows with the child. Since it's adjustable with ties at the back, a child from 1-year-old up to 12 years old can easily wear it.
And is there no boys' version of this?
We have boys' patterns with little horses, but yes, mostly it's girls who usually get these. This is a cool story about a difficult rabbit migration. As one of the girls who embroidered said, there's a rabbit on antidepressants and one without antidepressants. But actually there's a compass here. Well, like it's a compass of love. There's a little rainbow here and a sun that always comes out from behind the clouds. The tracks shown are from a running hare, not anything else. The image depicts both day and night, represented by the sun and moon.
And where do you find these drawings?
At first I made them myself. This particular collection, you could say this collar, later on when we sign all the documents, it will be a collaboration with the Evan Honshaw Museum. And these are actually patterns taken from the museum's collection fund. And part of the funds, 10% will be transferred to the needs of that very museum.
Great idea. Well, it reminds me of this primitivism of Primachenko, but in these colors, in this...
That's actually the technique.
There's so much in this little horse, it seems primitive, like there's nothing special, but there's so much meaning in it. Here, by the way, is Primachenko, right? Yes.
Yes, this is Primachenko. My grandmother embroidered this for my father when he went to war. It's actually called Here Goes the Little Bull. These are all pillows and tablecloths, all the paintings. At home, it's all my grandmother.
All the paintings too?
Yes, it's all my grandmother.
Wow.
This beautiful collar, called Szczebetuszeczka, is embroidered by girls known as the bird in a sweater. This is from a traditional Ukrainian towel from the Dnipro region, taken from the book Embroidery of Dnipro, Ukraine. These are towels. And once I showed this book to our artist, here is this little bird, see?
Oh, exactly.
It's a bird.
In a sweater. We met at Courage.
In the past year, we've already made and sold 400 collars.
One collar a day, sometimes even more.
Well, it turns out to be about 1 collar a day.
There were a lot of people around you there. A lot of people saying, oh, show us, show us, show us. Do they buy? This is business. What's my point? Grandma, old drawings, old tradition. You can feel that it's not so much about business, not so much about money, it's just like money. I came up with something new, comics, and let's buy. So how did it happen? What came first? Business, money?
No, as they say, behind every successful private entrepreneur, there's a man, an information technology guy. The mission of this brand, though I already dislike that word, is to make embroidery an everyday thing, to make handmade work accessible. Because machine embroidery is already accessible, but in our tradition there has never been machine embroidery. That is, we have always embroidered by hand. We had everyday shirts for daily wear. So we wore embroidery not only on holidays, we wore embroidery in our everyday lives. The idea is to make it more accessible because it's just a piece. It's not a whole sleeve, it's a part of the sleeve and you can wear it. That was the main idea at first, of course. Later, when it started to sell and receive feedback, it gained some new meanings.
And how much does it cost?
A children's collar costs 2,100 to 2,200 depending on the complexity of the pattern, but on average it's 2,200 hryvnias. And adult collars, they cost 2,500.
Look how cool this is.
Yes, these are rakes that loosen the soil. This is the sun shining on the seeds, the grass grows, the rain falls, then a flower grows, the flower leaves seeds again, and it all cycles and repeats.
How cool!
The little goat is not just a goat. Tied near the tree of life, it grazes on the grass, walks around as if guarding it. And here you see the clouds change, the sun, the stars, well, like the passage of time, like how the universe moves. And this is the diduch. It's a traditional Christmas sheaf. This is about the diduch, about the tritza candlestick.
Is this something Japanese?
Those are cranes over there. Some say it's a crane that will hold the earth after a nuclear explosion. Yes. This collar, made by another artist, is in the suprematist style. I greatly admire suprematists.
Strange but interesting, right? This will definitely catch attention abroad especially. What is this? Let me take a closer look.
Yes, when I go out wearing this myself, there will definitely be 2 or 3 people who come up to me and ask where they can buy it. And that's actually about this product, why we don't give it out on consignment. Because it doesn't sell just sitting on the shelf. When it's just lying there, people don't understand it.
Well, like, yeah, what is this, right? Just a little piece of cloth.
You need to, either wear it. Last year, we sent 10 collars to the Ukrainian house in Denmark, and only 1 was sold because they were just hanging there. If, let's say, a saleswoman was wearing a collar, then, yes. So they need to be worn and well, like they need to be seen because when they just lie there, it's very beautiful. It's something very nice, but nobody really knows what to do with it.
Aside from Courage, what other fairs and events are you selling at currently?
On Instagram, and now we're trying to get on Etsy.
Etsy is primarily popular in the United States, correct?
Yes, in short, there are a lot of nuances to make it show up in the search results.
I mean, so that it gets suggested.
Yes, so that it gets suggested shows up in the results. Specifically, what motivates me now, besides spreading the tradition of Ukrainian embroidery, is that I can give work to other people. Because right now, it's actually hard to find a job and to have something to do. Plus, all my girls who do the embroidery, they really love it. So this is my main support, my backbone, because every month I say, that's it, we're closing everything down. So they're always pushing me. They made an appointment with a psychiatrist for me because I was depressed, because they said, our business is suffering.
And how many of these drawings do you have?
I have around 50 collars in my collection. For instance, I have a chess-themed collar. 2 girls saw it and exclaimed that the collar represented them. This is champagne, this is a crown. This is a lighthouse at the sea, she says.
Look, this is a completely different approach.
Yes, this is the same artist. And this one is also new, a very beautiful hen or lady.
This is the best Ukrainian collar. Here it is, borscht.
Cool.
But this is such an untraditional borscht. Once we were asked to add more beans.
Beans, potatoes, meat.
This is a vegetarian borscht.
There are so many of them, and they're all so different and cool.
Oh, by the way, this is also from Honchar.
The colors are so vibrant.
It's actually very accurate, even considering that my grandmother does a lot of embroidery. I didn't have an embroidered shirt as a child, but my children already have 4 embroidered shirts each, even now. And it's not just embroidery, it's like a whole culture. I mean, I want to embroider an icon for Christmas. I kind of collect this Kosov ceramics and we take it out for Christmas. It's like I want my children, at first it was my daughter, now my son too, for them, this to be normal, not something wow or unusual. So that they feel the sense of belonging, so they don't feel like they have to feel something, so that it's just native to them.
Native.
If we are searching for ourselves, who we are, what we do, then for them it should be normal. Just like with embroidery, I don't want it to be just an element of celebration. I want it to be everyday, practical, normal, and understandable.
Damn, there's so much meaning in this. Because when you put on an embroidered shirt, it's like, look, I'm wearing it for myself, not even for other people. But you put it on for yourself. And it's this everyday approach, like, yeah, you put it on and that's it. It's nice, it's cool.
We can wear them every day.
We can wear them every day. It's not like...
To show something to someone, you have to understand that it's just, well, like, I don't know, jeans. I want the collar to eventually just become a part of how you express yourself as a Ukrainian man or woman.
I'm Heyohi and I make craft campers. It's a long journey, at least 6 years. I had a small workshop and that's how it all started. I was making picture frames for myself. That's where my skills in all of this began to develop. It was before the war, thank God, back in Henichesk. There was a great experienced kite surfing master, Denis Kazakov, and he set up a camp there right on the seashore, on the spit, using containers. And riders would come there to relax. Nature, the sea, the air, kite surfing. I had a little tent there. It was an unreal pleasure. I can't say anything about that, but later you want some comfort to have it for yourself. You come, you eat, you sleep, you warm up.
Comfort, yes.
Comfort, some kind of comfort. And I saw someone arrived in such a big
Motorhome.
And there's this picture of the American dream when a family, kids, frisbee, you know.
Well, to get inspired and to actually start creating, that's a huge difference. Just to drive by and think, damn, it would be cool to have a camper van. Or during the war. Yeah, I get it, you have a workshop, but still, to just go and make campers, to start a business like that, first of all, at a time when not that many people are actually traveling, plus there are a lot of questions, a lot of nuances. How did you even decide to do this?
This is one of those cases when a hobby turned into a business.
How much does it cost?
300,000 hryvnias.
Presentation.
Presentation. First of all, since I don't work with metal, here is a galvanized factory-made frame from a Ukrainian factory that professionally produces these trailers on an axle. That is, this is already a factory-built structure. It has all the certificates and it's reliable. Everything that is the superstructure is a plywood composite metal construction assembled like a multi-layered sandwich and consists of composite plywood insulation and another layer of plywood. So this is a structure that is warm, has decent sound insulation and is moisture resistant. Of course, it's not a submarine, meaning it's not a boat that can float, but still the basic things have already been tested both during operation and in the testing process. So we go through all the necessary weather conditions without any problems. The entire construction process is purely individual or super customized. So if someone comes and says they have 2 kids or they want it just for themselves, for hunting, fishing, or whatever else, we discuss all of that. Of course, the base, the foundation, and the shape will be more or less the same. And all these upgrades, we can add things like bike mounts, showers, chargers, heaters, extra solar panels, awnings, air conditioners, heating, cooling. It weighs up to 750 kilograms, so for a passenger car, that's absolutely normal. We arrive at any spot, and if we like it here, all right, guys, see you tomorrow. I'm going to sleep. There's a bed, a blanket, record players, insulation, and light here. That's how it instantly turns into a living space where you can fully relax and lie down.
You can really stretch your legs out, right? So you can get in there completely?
Yes, this is how it looks. We have a control console with light switches. There are 220-volt outlets, Type-C ports, and phone chargers. Ambient lighting for evening relaxation, because the main light is too bright in the dark. This way, you can relax comfortably and create a cozy atmosphere. There's a control panel for the heater here. Here you can have either additional shelves with the option to connect a television or tablet, or extra drawers where you can store or organize things. There can also be an extra child's bed here because the width of this whole setup is 1.5 meters. So we can easily add a shelf here where a child can comfortably lie down and you and your family can relax, be comfortable and feel safe. For comfortable ventilation, we have a hatch with a mosquito net, which in principle is on all the doors. And this is the basic version. If we're talking about any upgrades, you can install air conditioning here, panoramic windows for a better view of the starry sky, because that's an advantage when you're out in nature. I've lived with this for a little while. It's not like I do this and, it just sits there and I don't know why I'm doing it. But it's kind of like a continuation of my lifestyle or philosophy in some way. The whole point of this is that the boundaries of your comfort and relaxation become limitless. You can move around or you can just stay in one place with a certain level of autonomy, like cooking your own food. Or if it's a warm season, or if you do winter swimming or hardening, you can take a shower. Let's move over here. There's this rear trunk lid or whatever it's called. That's how it works. There's enough space to cut something, to cook and so on. Everything is designed and arranged in such a way that you have a certain level of autonomy. A battery with an inverter that can be recharged from a solar panel. Snow, cold, -5 to 7 degrees, that's enough for me to have 2 days of autonomy.
No, well, 2 days is fine.
Given the conditions that I have a heater running, meaning inside I have...
It's hot. It's fine.
The confidence that you have some water, you have a stove, let's say, everything has its place. Here is a 50-liter tank, and basically that's more than enough.
Where does it drain?
I ask myself two questions. Either we're just harming nature,
Well, yeah, you wash it and it just goes down the drain.
or we just make a container like this for 20 liters with the ability to drain it where it's possible to do so. And from experience with all this, basically, when you use it, you don't really drain that much because for you, water is a resource. Here we have a heater. It's a diesel internal combustion engine designed in such a way that it takes air from outside and heats it up. There's a small exhaust pipe at the bottom. It vents out fairly eco-friendly emissions and warm air comes into the cabin. So this is a winter heater for conditions when you need to make it comfortable at -9, 10, 20, or even 30 degrees. To sum up, it's all about nature. It's all about recreation and interacting with nature in a responsible way.
You have a working business. You're getting into a pretty tough situation where there's no market, no real demand, and not that many clients. But you keep pushing and still say, I will do it, I will improve, I will sell, I have a dream, there will be a workshop.
In Ukraine, since this is a new kind of breath, I am inspired specifically by the development of this type of recreation. Because even today, when you look at Bukovel, well, it's mainstream, everything is very mainstream. A year will pass, 2 years will pass, you'll get used to it and you'll want something new, some new adventures.
Only on something like that can you go sit down and think, oh my God, how beautiful. There are no hotels there.
There's nothing there.
Either a camper or a tent. Not much choice. And there are a lot of such places.
A lot. For example, if I write to other travel bloggers now, like, let's do something together, let's make some content. Well, I'm not a blogger, I just create stuff, I don't have a team, I don't have that kind of production and so on. But I tell travel bloggers, go ahead, take it. Moreover, right now, well, the business concept is that I not only produce it, I can also rent it out. That is, if you don't have the money to buy it right away today,
But you want to try it?
you need to have a category, a small deposit, then we calculate the length of your stay according to the rate chart, because the longer you stay, the cheaper it gets. It's more convenient for you, more convenient for me. We sign the paper, hang it up, and then go travel.
So I've decided I want to buy. Oh, radio.
Yes,
How long will it take you to do it for me?
3 months. The initial visualization has been implemented and we coordinate the placement of mounts for awnings, bicycles, motorcycles, or anything else there. There are a lot of different nuances like additional heating, floor heating, cooling, or air conditioning, for example. Basically, it's a constructor. Hinges, windows, all kinds of mosquito nets and so on, from all of that and so forth.
It's actually cool that at first you're a camper and then you notice, really there's a little window here and a mosquito net. Here's this, that, and a charger. What's this?
A spare suitcase in case you need to bring something else with you.
This is the trunk.
Tables, some clothes. Now it's seasonal because in the summer there will probably be a refrigerator. So it can be stored here, but extra space is never unnecessary.
I haven't picked mushrooms. Do you need any spices? You don't need anything? So just a regular car with a tow bar and off we go.
Yes, a tow bar, the spirit of freedom, the spirit of adventure, because every trip is an adventure, I guarantee it.
I'll add something myself. But staying at a 5-star hotel with all that marble, that's not necessarily an adventure. It could just be an ordinary, well, quality breakfast, a beautiful lobby. Things like that bring out a lot more emotions.
I'm Yulia and I promote Ukrainian wine. We are in a shop that sells exclusively Ukrainian wine and strong alcoholic drinks called Vinarnia. We have over 240 different kinds of Ukrainian drinks. We start with Bessarabia, here we have Grand Vale, and we also have Maiwane.
And Frumushika Nova?
Frumushika Nova, because it's Bessarabia, it's a very vast region, and for us, it's kind of an extension of Bessarabia.
Damn, I wanted to show off that I know Vinorob, but he's not here.
Next, we have the Black Sea region. Here we have the gorgeous Beykush. Here we have El Capitan, the 46th parallel. We have Odessa, and we also have the Mykolaiv steppe, formerly known as Slivino.
Yes.
This is what they look like now. Very beautiful, very nice. We're excited for their lavender Riesling. Their Riesling is exquisite. Keep an eye out for when it's available. Next, we are going to Lviv region. Here we have Lviv region, and here we have Axis, which we are drinking.
Which we are, by the way, drinking. Exactly.
Next, we have Yanshin Hills. This is the village of Ivanivka in the Lviv region. They actually work with their own grapes.
So, are there vineyards in the Lviv region?
Vineyards, yes. You see, they have gorgeous labels here. And they work with these Ukrainian varieties. This is Bukovinka, Muscat Holodrien.
The labels are gorgeous, that's true.
The labels were created in collaboration with the Ukrainian artist Kristina Lukashchuk. In Padilya, we have Bodan's winery. They make simply wonderful wines. An incredible gentleman. Next, we have a really young winery called Bokota Bay. Interesting, these corals of theirs, they also work with Jupiter. Merlot received a gold at Wine Spirit. Tetis, which also includes Odesky Chorny, is interesting as well. Next up is GG Winery, located in Vinnykaina.
We know that.
Phases probably 100%.
We know.
Zelenipsy?
Oh, that's a no.
This is also Padilya. It's a small winery. They constantly love to experiment and they have a wide assortment. From what we take most often now, it's the Muscat Orange. So something interesting. And Monarch. Monarch actually is a very interesting light, cool wine.
Ukrainian cuisine is different, not like it is in the rest of the world. We are different, like Georgian cuisine, we are different. Is there something special about our Ukrainian wine that makes it different from French or Italian wine?
I would say yes, there is. It's actually our indigenous grape varieties. While we may not have numerous indigenous varieties, the most common ones like Odesky Chorny and Tiltikuruk are native to the region, scientifically speaking. So, the indigenous grape variety Tiltikuruk, which Shabo works with, especially in the Grand Reserve version, it's a very serious wine that we even recommend as a gift for the French. This unique wine is made exclusively in Ukraine using a specific grape variety not found elsewhere.
And how much does a bottle cost?
800 hryvnias.
And can I try it?
Note that the wine is from Mykolaiv and put it in the fridge.
And you girls, you take everything so seriously. Wine should be drunk chilled, it's not supposed to be warm.
But this is Grand Reserve, it can be.
Well, it's just a good sign. I remember when we used to buy basically Shabo, not Reserve, just Shabo, or there was also Kadarka or something like that. We used to buy it and it was, well, fine.
Now, are you kidding?
It's not chilled. So there is this change in the culture of consumption, the attitude, the glasses. It's not like we just poured it to get a result. They say it's true, like I always did the first nose like this, but it turns out you have to do it like this.
Yeah, that's right. And don't aerate, you don't need to.
You don't need to.
You don't need to. This is the first nose.
And what other kinds of noses are there?
There's a second one.
And what is the second one like?
After aeration.
Uh-huh.
There's also a third one. That's when you've already drunk the wine. Usually, I teach people at tastings how to evaluate wine. First, we look at its color.
First you smell the cork, right?
Yes, the cork. Do you know why?
Well, if it's gone sour, then it...
It hasn't gone sour, no. If there's cork taint, then it will very clearly smell like wet cardboard. That's how I describe it, because to me it actually smells like a wet dog. The bacteria that lives in the bark of the cork tree is almost impossible to destroy, and it can remain there, living in the cork. And when the wine is stored, the bacteria starts living in that cork, and the cork is constantly in contact with the wine. And then the wine is not spoiled, you can drink it, but it will smell like a damp basement, cardboard, or a wet dog. That's why usually if you buy wine in specialized stores, you can come and return it. Of course, if it's an empty bottle, they won't give you your money back.
So how do you evaluate it correctly?
So first we looked at how it looks. Because it has such a rich golden color, we can see that this wine is already aged. Well, we know that it's aged. This is Grand Reserve, which means the wine rested in oak for about 15 to 18 months, if I'm not mistaken. We can see this by the color, because if the wine is a very, very light white color, we know that it's young.
Yes, it's not rich, not in that way.
Yes. Also, we can see, in biology, we can see sediment.
Biologist, it's a pretty good wine.
Excellent wine, well done.
There's no need. The sediment is normal in wine.
Normal.
This tells us that it's organic wine, which has matured. All the remaining sugars were consumed in the final phase before making it by the yeast. By the yeast, yes, before doing the disgorgement.
We look to see if there's sediment or not. Here we don't have any sediment. In that one there would be sediment. And we understand that it's normal, it's a natural thing. Actually, it's just that the wine there didn't go through this filtration. Next, we take the first nose for the first time. It depends on the person. Actually, they differ in their intensity and aroma. What do we sense in the aroma?
It's very hard for me to say. Something intense. It's like you took a bunch of grapes and squeezed them. Notes of flowers. There are definitely flowers here. Some kind of fruit, maybe quince. Some kind of apple. And actually, it could be apple.
Soaked apple.
Soaked apple. First, no, this is a soaked apple.
Gorgeous. It's very important for people to aerate wine. We relax the wrist, so you don't need to strain. Just relax your wrist and do it like this.
Why do my lips pucker right away?
We're saturating our wine with oxygen. Why? So that it reveals all of its flavor characteristics. The Japanese have a tradition like this. For them, it's considered normal to slurp. And I sometimes do the same thing at home with wine. Wonderful. Why do you do this? So that even this process of aeration continues for you? Well, in your mouth, it doesn't look very aesthetic, but it's wonderful for tasting the wine. So now we've aerated it.
Well, it's tasty.
We've aerated it, we've taken the second nose, and then we taste it, then we look for what associations we have with this wine, and then we look at the aftertaste. Interesting fact. Aftertaste actually has a unit of measurement. It's called a caudal, but one caudal is 1 second. Just French?
Here, the caudal is normal.
Yes.
And very different. At first, there was this pronounced sourness. Sour, 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 then suddenly...
It ends with a hint of bitterness, right?
Yeah, bitterness. It's not sweet or sour, just bitter. This is really cool.
We know Shabo from the stores. Even in the simplest shops, it's that wine that costs 100 hryvnias and sits somewhere down at the bottom. This isn't the same Shabo as this one. We had Shabo, we sold it from their most expensive line. It cost 3,000 hryvnias there. Excellent wines. Then we have my personal favorite sparkling wine, Shabo Grand Reserve. It's 750 hryvnias, but I love it. I find it tastier than some well-known champagnes.
And is this wine you have for 100 hryvnias the cheap one?
It's not a bad wine, it's just the simplest wine. It's just that if you're already used to the first level of wine, let's say, well, okay, you can even determine it by the price. If you typically drink wine priced around 400 hryvnias and instead buy a bottle for 100 hryvnias, it won't be harmful, but it will be very basic and simple wine. Where you won't find those notes of flavor, aftertaste, aroma that you're looking for.
So why pay more?
Everyone was a student, everyone drank that Bolrad or whatever, or that Transcarpathian wine, without which I don't remember what was happening. But over time, the more you get to know wine, the more you expand your boundaries. And you kind of want this good quality wine now. After trying the 100 hryvnia version, the cheaper one just won't taste good anymore. We've become accustomed to finer things, so going back to 100 hryvnia wine just isn't the same. Even though it's still wine.
Friends, don't start drinking with expensive wine.
Because then you'll only have to go higher.
Yes, only go higher, only go higher. And if you start with a little port wine 3/7, then you have a path ahead of you.
If you're accustomed to drinking 300 Frivnia wine and attend a tasting held by my colleagues, it costs out 200 as they serve exceptional wines. I don't go there because I know that, for example, I still wouldn't understand what I paid that money for. You need to get to that point gradually.
They always say like Chateau Mudo from 59. That was such a vintage.
2018 was a good year. There's also Chabot, also Grand Reserve Chardonnay from 2018. This is absolutely the best Ukrainian wine I've ever tasted. People's perception is very different. Again, last week I held a tasting. There were 5 or 6 different wines and 10 or 11 people. And there wasn't a wine that everyone liked, but each wine was liked by someone because all people are very different. And the wine that someone said, "Oh my God, this is the best wine of my life," someone else said, "Oh my God, this is such rubbish. I would never drink this." That's normal. When someone visits, they'll meet the top Ukrainian winemakers.
But what's the point? Well, it's still a business. And he has a completely different class of wine, completely different, and their business is doing well. Maybe if we're talking about business, then maybe it's easier, simpler, faster, and they've made money.
Mass products always work better. There's another key point to consider here. Because we also work online, it allows us to feel a bit better, it makes us feel better. We're still observing. When orders are online, there are always more interesting wines and the basket is bigger. That makes sense. You won't order wine for 600 hryvnias if the delivery costs 100. It's not very economical. But for example, people who come here might not even know about our mission, about what I came up with here. Oh, come on, they want semi-dry wine, let them enjoy it. The main thing is that you're choosing Ukrainian wine. That's great, awesome. If you want something more interesting later, we'll develop it. If not, no problem. It's totally fine.
Ukrainian wine. That's cool. Is that cool?
Ukrainian winemakers have begun experimenting with sparkling wines. We have sparkling wines made by the traditional method, champagne, tank method, prosecco, and pet nats. Currently, we have numerous experiments, which is both exciting and crucial. That's why we need to support this, because if people aren't interested, winemakers won't have the opportunity to do these experiments.
Let's raise a toast to your journey and to the journey of Ukrainian winemaking.
And to the culture of consumption.